base is under attack. Preparing. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
On hold. Cancel. Building.
Report affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Comrade. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Gentlemen,
Training.
it's a nuclear
Unit
device.
ready. Training.
Time is running
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Time is running out. Gentlemen, it's a nuclear device. Time is running out. Acknowledged. Time is running out.
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit
Awaiting
ready.
orders.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit
Vehicle
ready.
affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Creation of a humanoids. Power to overcome.
Creation of a humanoids.
Acknowledged.
Destroy. The president.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Creation of a humanoid.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Vehicle report.
Insufficient funds.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Our base is under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Our base is under
Affirmative.
attack.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Our base is
Affirmative.
under attack.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Insufficient.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Insufficient funds.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Comrade, affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders once. Very well. Very well. Affirmative.
Reporting.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Insufficient funds.
Ready and waiting.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
On hold. Cancel. Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Training.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Training.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Training.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Training.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
New construction options. Building. Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Awaiting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. Insufficient funds. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
On hold. Cancel. Building. Unit ready.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Comrade. Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
On hold. Cancel. Building. On hold.
Ready and waiting.
Unit ready. Building.
Very well. At once. At
Unit
once.
ready. Building. Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Comrade, acknowledged.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade, acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Silos
Vehicle
needed.
reporting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Silos needed. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building. Training. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready.
Vehicle
Unit
reporting.
ready. Training.
Affirmative.
Building. Silos needed. Unit ready.
Comrade.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Vehicle report. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Report acknowledged.
Report. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Mission accomplished.
За Росію. За женщин. За русских женщин. Excellent work in the Ukraine, Commander. You are ambitious. Ambition can be very useful. Might find your way into a cramped corner office in a drafty old building in what used to be the better part of Moscow. I like you. I like you very much. And I am Russian. I do not like anybody. But I drink to you, comrade.